does that even mean, Bowers Game Corner?
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review. Today we're excited to check out Pixel Glory Light and Shadow, a fast-paced card game from Zafty Games. This is for 1 to 4 players, take about 30 minutes to play, and it's for ages 13 plus. And in Pixel Glory Light and Shadows, this is an expansion slash standalone game to the original Pixel Glory, in which you are going to be bidding slash drafting for various different spells and basic attack spells in order to then, in the second part of the game, use those spells to crush bad guys and gain victory points or survive if you're playing the cooperative version of the game. It is a light, simple, fast-paced card game, but is it good? Let's open it up and I'll tell you what I think. Alrighty then, we're going to take a look at what you're going to inside of Pixel Glory Light and Shadows. First and foremost, we have our handy dandy rule booklet. 7 pages, double-sided, full color, full of pictures, illustrations, examples. Pretty well done. Should have you up and running in no time at all. It's also a relatively simple game, so I can give you a feel for how the game plays right now. Now, before we get started, I do want to mention there's cooperative mode, solo mode, 2 vs 2, expanded. I'm going to be showing to you how to play the competitive mode, but the cooperative mode is very, very similar, except you're going to be facing all the monsters, and you flip the big bad monster to the co-op side instead of the FFA, aka free-for-all side. So in Pixel Glory, you are going to be drafting, you're going to be, well, auctioning off spells. If you're playing cooperatively, you're going to be drafting spells, but you're going to be auctioning off spells and going to be building up your character, aka your deck, and then it has sort of a deck building aspect. Once you have 9 different spells in your deck, then you will start fighting monsters, hoping to land the killing blow on these monsters in order to gain the victory points in the top right-hand corner of said monsters. What am I talking about? Let's go over the components. Let's get into the gameplay. So first, you're going to have a whole bunch of basic spells up here. All of them will do 1 damage, except for the ones when you're fighting the opposite. So fire does 1 extra damage to earth, earth does 1 extra damage to water, water does 1 extra damage to fire. You get the idea here. You're going to gain these spells by auctioning and purchasing the real spells, these big spells right here. So when you get one of these spells, you'll get it, and also you will get 2 of the basic spells down below, 2 in this instance, 3 in this instance. Some will give you 5, so that one's going to give you 5. So let's show you exactly how it works, because it really does work in 2 separate phases. So when you're playing the free-for-all mode, everybody's going to get 9 coins, and you will be spending all 9 of these cards. They'll go from 1 to 9, as you guessed. Next, what you're going to do, depending on the player count, you're going to deal out these cards into the center. So let's just say we're playing a 3-player game right now. We have 3 of these out here, and I don't know where I put the extra auctioning cards. Yeah, I think they're in here. Yep. So what's going to happen now is you're going to take a look at all of these spells, make sure everybody knows what's going on. Then you're all going to play down 1 of your bidding cards. So let's see, anything good down here? We got the drink, draw 2 cards, heal each player 1 health, which is not exactly what you want to do, because as I mentioned, you can, in the free-for-all, people can die in this game, especially if you're playing on the harder difficulty. If you're playing on the easier difficulty, you don't have to worry about that at all. But if you're playing on the harder difficulty, or if you're playing cooperative on harder difficulty, people can die. But drawing 2 cards is really great, plus it'll give me 3 basic water attacks. Next we have the Shadow Dubla. You may discard 4 cards if you do instantly defeat a damaged elemental monster. That is a really good special ability. But here's the catch. Why this one doesn't sound so good, you have to discard 4 cards in order to do that, and you only have 4 cards to work with on your turn. So this is where you really have to think about which cards you're picking, because having this drink, and this would be great, because maybe you could draw 2 extra cards, and then you'd be able to discard 4. Now, you also notice there's another special ability down here on the bottom with another little number. So, if you are able to trigger this one, it replaces the top one. So play 3 cards in your discard, place 3 cards in your discard to your hand. So, in order to do this, though, you have to play 3 purple spells before this one. So they can be regular spells like this, or they could be the basic spells like that. So this card will actually be somewhat easy to play, though, because you'll have 5 purples. Next, we have Madness. You may play Madness. When Madness is discarded on your turn, reveal cards from your deck until you reveal a non-basic spell or run out of cards in your deck. Play that non-basic spell and discard all the revealed cards. So let's go ahead and say, I really want that middle spell. I'm going to go hard on it, and I'll go with a solid 7, a nice meaty 7. So I did 7, he did 7, and he did 5. Well, that's where this Tiebreaker Amulet comes into play. Pretty simple stuff. If you have it, you win ties, and then the person to your left would win it. So this guy has it. Let's say he's green. I'm yellow, blue. So I would get to pick first, then blue would pick one, and then green would pick one. And whoever picks last then takes the Tiebreaker Amulet. All these cards, well, not the Tiebreaker Amulet, would then be discarded. So you're going to do that. You're going to do that 9 times. And each one of these spells is different. It's got some of them have kind of humorous artwork. There's like a rock in here that you throw. Also, I do want to mention, I'm not sure if this comes with the base game or if it's a Kickstarter thing, but I have extra little packs of cards. I played with them. Some of them are monsters. Some of them are spells. They're pretty cool. They're pretty cool in there, and they're going to give you a little bit more variability in the game. But as you can see, there is also a bunch of spells as is. So let's just go ahead and fast forward. Oh, but let's go to this example. I would take the 5. I take the 5 card right here. Then I would also take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these, and I would set them aside. They would do the same thing. Put this in my little stack, and then we would have 3 more to bid on. Wow. Shadow, Drain, and Wave. We're getting a lot of purple ones right now. So you know what? I might go with this one because I know I'm going to have a bunch of purples, so I would probably bid high to try and take that. But let's just fast forward, though. Once you get past everybody getting 9 cards, then you're going to put all these cards to the side. You will not need them anymore. And this is when the meat of the game starts. Well, I shouldn't say the meat. It's about 50-50. This is when the second part of the game comes into play. And this is where you're going to start fighting monsters. So depending on which game mode, you're going to have X number of these monsters. Let's take a look at one. So this one has 9 health, and he will give you 2 victory points if you deal the killing blow on him. Doesn't matter if you do 8 damage, but don't kill him. The person who does the healing deadly blow on him will get the points. And this is a bulbing, so it's a light bulb. There's a good sense of humor in this game. That one doesn't have a special ability. Those ones don't. But some of them, actually quite a few of them, have special abilities. So, let's see. There we go. Defeat. The player that defeats Hot Potato takes 2 damage. Some will make it so you can't heal. Some of them will make it so that every time you attack them, you will take damage. So each spell other than shadow spells can deal at most 1 damage to enchanted armor. So this one's going to be really hard to kill unless you have a lot of shadow spells. But you are going to do that, and you're going to have this big bad guy at the bottom of the pile. So I think it was 14 of these. So you get it like this, and you shuffle them up, and then you're going to set them out like so. And then you are going to take turns. And on your turn, you are going to do a couple different things. First thing you're going to do is you're going to take your big stack of these cards that you have acquired, and you're going to shuffle them up and draw 4. So this is a terrible example because I only have the purple spells in here, but we would now be ready to do some attacking. Before I do that, though, you do want to set out health, and they got these little nice little cubes and the cool little hearts right there. So as they take damage, you will take health off of their characters. So 5, 6, 7, attack, remove any spell that deals damage to Game Genie from the game. So that is actually kind of a way you can trash some of your spells, which might be something you could potentially want to do. So we have 4 shadow damage, which is a bummer, but you know it's not so bad because there is a light Lost Unicorn out here, and shadow damage does 2 to light. So right now, we could deal some serious damage to this Shadow Unicorn. Oh my goodness, but it has -1 victory point. You take 1 damage unless you deal at least 1 damage to Lost Unicorn on your turn. So we don't actually want to kill that. So what we might do is we might just take the 4 damage, and we might deal 3 of it to this guy. And then it's time to talk about what is called the reserve. So in this game, what you can do is you can reserve 1 card. You set it up here in the corner, and you can use that on a future turn. It can be a basic spell. It can be, you know, a fancy spell. It can be anything you want. And say, next turn, I really want to use this card. Well, I can take this out and use it, or I can interchange it with something else. It gives you a little bit more freedom of mobility with the game, being able to play different things. Anywho, you're going to continue to play until eventually the big bad guy is killed. Where's that big bad guy? He's in there somewhere. He was the one that was worth 3 victory points. Once he is killed, you will total up the points, and whoever has the most points will win the game. Almost forgot this component right here. So this little handy doodad right here is going to keep track of your health, and it also has something called combos going on it. So how it works is, if you on a turn do not kill a monster, like I just had a turn where I didn't kill a monster, you would go up 1 on your combo. Boom. And if you ever have 3 combo, you can kill an elemental monster, or you can draw 4 cards, which also makes triggering some of the more difficult spells a little bit easier. The other big thing that I forgot to mention is that if you kill 2 monsters on a turn, you get to gain 1 health. Anywho, if you die, you can still potentially win the game because you still get to add up your points at the end of the game. But if you die, you are eliminated from the game. Not that I foresee that happening too terribly often. But that in a nutshell is what you're going to do inside of Pixel Glory, Light and Shadow. Alrighty then, Pixel Glory, Light and Shadow from Zafty Games. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. Before we get started though, I do want to mention you're not going to be hearing anything about the original Pixel Glory in this review. I can't tell you if it's a great expansion or if it's a must-have expansion or if it's better than the original because I've never played the original. I'm just going to be judging this as its own standalone game. I imagine it would be good as an expansion just because you have more monsters, more cards, which is always a good thing. But Pixel Glory, Light and Shadow, let's start on the con side. First and foremost, 1 to 4 players, a little bit of a restricted player count. I do like the fact you can play it solo. That's a great way to actually learn the game as well, but still a little bit of a restricted player count. Another comment I have with this game is that this is the kind of game where you're going to get more out of this game if you're able to get it to the table pretty routinely, especially the first time you play. And I noticed this with nearly everybody that I played with. The first time they played, including me, their decks kind of stunk because there's lots of cool cards. You're going to see the cool cards and be like, oh, I'm going to want to do that. I'm going to want to do that. And you really need to synergize. And if you can synergize better than other people, you're probably going to crush them a little bit because synergy in this game is super important and you're not exactly going to have the best idea how to synergize when you first play the game. So you're only going to play this, once every maybe 4 months, 3 months, something like that. I don't know if this is one I can really recommend. This is one you're going to want to get to the table pretty routinely, I think, to get the most out of the game. Another con that I have of the game is that the artwork is going to be a turn-off/turn-on to some people. If you don't like pixel artwork, you're not going to like this. If you do like pixel artwork, you are going to like it. But you just need to know that it is very pixel. I personally, I could take or leave pixel, but the humor in the game did come across, which is a good thing. But that is something that you do need to know. Any other cons that I really have with the game? I don't have too many cons with this game. Like, there's not too many holes that I can poke in this game. It tries to do a little bit of everything. It's cooperative. It's competitive. It's 2 versus 2. It's a solo game. It can be really difficult. It can be really hard. And they crammed all that in there. And for the most part, they crammed all that in there pretty successfully. The components are nice. The little tokens are nice. The health tracker is nice. Just everything about this game is clean and clear. The rule booklet's very well done. The cards, for the most part, are pretty self-explanatory. And, the rule booklet really helps you with a lot of different stuff. You'll read through it once, probably not even twice, and you'll know what the game is. Both of the phases are pretty straightforward. But that's another con with this game. I think some people are just going to want more out of this game because it is a very straightforward game. Most of the time, on your turns, you're going to know what you're going to do. You're going to be like, all right, I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do that, and maybe I'll reserve this card. And the turns, I don't know. I just wanted a little bit more out of this game. I'm going to tell you I think it's a good game, and that I like the game. And if you can routinely get this one to the table and you're looking for a fun family game or a lighter weight game for you and your couple or a solo game and you like this theme and you like Pixel, then yeah, I'm going to tell you this is a good game. But, well, let's just do that. So that's what I got on the con side. There's not too many holes to poke into it. But moving on to the pros, I just wanted a little bit more out of this game. And maybe it's just because I've kind of ascended to, playing games that have a little bit more meat on the bones. But this one is a little bit light on the meat. And I'm just going to say it's good. I think it's a good game. I think some people might think it's great. Some people might really enjoy it. I think this would be a really good family game if you could get your family into it. They have all the different spells. If you like Pixel, yeah. But for everybody else, I just feel like it's a good game. And it could have been better. I just wanted more out of the game. Now, having the extra packets of cards is cool because you get more spells and you get more monsters, but it doesn't add like a unique extra element to the game, which is what I really felt was lacking in this game. So, let's go over what's good. Rules are good. Components are good. I personally don't mind the artwork. I like the sense of humor in the game. I thought it came across well. You got the player aid cards. everything is covered well in the game. It feels like this was done by a company that knows what the heck they are doing. And I'm starting to think that maybe I'm just not the target market for this. I think if this were one of the first games I played when I first got into the hobby, I would really, really dig this game more. I think it's like kind of like Boss Monster, where if you're newer into the hobby and you want to play something on the lighter side, then yeah, you're really going to enjoy it. But my buddy Brandon's a perfect example. He used to love Boss Monster, but then the more he got into the hobby, the more complex stuff he played, he just started to see the holes and how simple Boss Monster was compared to those other games. And if you like those kind of simple games, then yeah, I can recommend Pixel Glory, Light and Shadow. But if not, then I think you're probably going to want to go for something a little bit more meaty. So in the end, Pixel Glory, I think it's a good game. I do. I like the game. But it just didn't do enough for me to warrant keeping. As for the ages 13 plus, I do want to mention that and the solo game, because I do like to mention that. Ages 13 plus, you can ignore that. I was playing this with 10-year-olds, no problem. The 10-year-olds had no problem understanding it. They could read the cards, they could understand what the cards did. They were able to grasp the game, so I put this as like ages 9, 10 plus as opposed to 13 plus. Now moving on to the solo game. How does the solo game work? It's very similar to the cooperative game. You're going to draft out your spells, then you have to kill everything in the game, and it's a good way to learn the game. You know, the one thing that I didn't like is that you're going to see all the monsters, which just kind of makes it... It just kind of makes it so there's no new surprises. I kind of wish you were only facing a certain number of the monsters. But in the end, Pixel Glory, Light and Shadow, I think it's a good game. I just wanted a little bit more out of it. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below in the comments below. Let me know. Would you rather eat 1 spider or 6 ants? I mean, personally, I'll take the 6 ants. You know, like the 6 ants... You know, if I chewed them up really fast, I might not even notice they're in there, especially if they were on like a chocolate bar or something. But that 1 spider, I'm gonna know that spider's in there. I'm gonna feel those legs. I'm gonna get like a leg stuck in my teeth. So I'm gonna eat the 6 ants. Let me know, 6 ants, 1 spider. Which one are you eating? And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.